Hello everybody, and today we are doing What If Deku Was an Elemental Kitsune, Part 1. This is also our 700 subscriber special for this Part 1. So I would really appreciate if you went down into the little box and clicked on it. Because if you do, it turns gray, and gray is a pretty good color. Also, if you press on that like button, it'll turn blue. And I know blue is one of the most popular colors in the world, so join the majority. So, this is Izuku, and onto the video. Okay, guys. So, we start this off when Deku was just born. Deku was born with rainbow hair. Also, on his tush, quote unquote, he has 9 little hairs, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I guess we can make this work. Deku has 9 little hairs, and 1 is red, 1 is orange, 1 is yellow, 1 is green, 1 is blue, 1 is purple, 1 is pink. We'll get on. 1 is black. Vote. You guys can say what in the comments you want the last element to be. Just if you want to know, fire is red, obviously. Orange is the earth. Like, you can manipulate rocks and earth around you. And electricity, obviously you can manipulate electricity. Life, which you can manipulate nature. Blue would be water. You can manipulate all kinds of water. Purple, which would be matter. You can manipulate all kinds of matter. Basically anything. And the pink one is air, which it just so happens to be pink. And black for black holes. You can make black holes, and you can make dark energy. And yeah, on to the last one. Well, no, remember the last one. Yeah, okay. So when Deku is taken from the hospital into the maternity ward, Inko visits him like, you look so nice, Izuku. Wait, what are... He's developing a quirk already. Amazing. As Izuku pokes his head up at Inko, and his ears suddenly turn into little wolf ears, and his face kind of curves a little to kind of look like a fox / wolf, kind of. And Izuku just puts his hand out like, Mama, as Inko sheds a single tear, and she walks away. And yeah, 4 years later, Izuku arrives back home and quickly rushes to his mom like, Mom, I've got a quirk. It looks like I have a fire quirk. As one of Izuku's tails had fully grown out, and it was pretty long. It was his fire tail. It wasn't actually on fire. One sec, guys. Okay, guys. Continuing off, Inko is like, oh, is that so, Izuku? Good for you. So, how strong is it? And if so, what color? And Izuku's like, well, as you see, one of my tails grew out, as you theorized. And yeah. As Inko's like, how do you know what that means, Izuku? Good job. As Izuku's like, thanks. As his tail quickly, his tail could go from where it was on his waist, all the way up to his shoulder. So Izuku notices, like, so it seems I have 8 others. It's so cool. As Inko tells him to get in the car, and they go to the quirk doctor. And when they get in there, they wait for about an hour. And the quirk doctor calls them back, like, so sorry, Miss Midoriya. We're having a bit of a tight schedule today. So, what does he think his quirk is? As Izuku's like, oh, well, I don't know fully yet, but I know I at least have fire. As the quirk doctor's like, that's a strong one. You said at least. You'll be a strong one for sure, kiddo. As the quirk doctor's like, Miss Midoriya, if you don't mind, we'll be doing some tests on him for his quirk. As Inko quickly gets out of the room. And after all the tests are done, Inko comes back in, and the quirk doctor's like, well, as he grabs his notes off of the counter and says, it seems that your son's quirk is immensely powerful. Very strong. He has 9 quirks. More so 1 altogether. He's an elemental Kitsune. As Inko's like, that's so cool. As Izuku's like, yeah. As the quirk doctor then keeps explaining, like, he has a fire, earth, electricity, life, water, matter, air, and this black one, which I suspect that is like dark energy, like black holes and things like that. But that last one, it's odd. I can't exactly put my hand on it. It's very powerful. I hope you guys can figure that one out. Well, yeah, that's it. I'd call this quirk Elemental Kitsune, as you'd imagine. So, you can be on your way. That's it. As Izuku, who is ecstatic about his quirk, quickly tells his mother, like, Mom, I'll be the #1 hero. I'll be even stronger than All Might himself. Way stronger than Kachan, too. He only has 1 quirk. I have 9 quirks in 1. As, Inka's like, good job, Izuku. As the next day, Izuku is taken to school, and Bakugo's like, so, Izuku, what was your quirk? As Izuku's like, well, as you saw my fire side, which is the only one I can use right now, as he reveals the tail that fully grew. And Izuku then spills the beans like, well, I have 9 quirks in 1. I'm an elemental Kitsune, as he poses. As Bakugo gets a little jealous, like, how come you get such a strong quirk? I'll never beat you, Izuku. As you'll always be #1. I'll be like Endeavor. And Bakugo will say also looked up to Endeavor in this one. And Izuku thinks to, like, yeah, I'll be All Might, you're Endeavor. I'll be #1. As Bakugo and Izuku have a little slow-mo shot. End of episode. Just kidding. And we fast forward all the way to near the on the last day of middle school. And Izuku, now, over the course of a couple years, who was very much determined now to become a hero, much more than in canon, because, he had hope. So, he trained a ton for UA, because his dream was to become the number one hero. So he wanted to go to the number one hero school, which was UA, and he knew that was very hard. Only around 150 out of 150,000 people could get in. If you go to statistics, I do believe. So, Izuku, at this time, had 4 tails unlocked. He had fire, earth, electricity, and life. And Izuku was extremely powerful with all of these. He could dominate a battlefield. But as you'd imagine, he is amazing at every situation. And the more tails he'll unlock, the stronger he grows. So, eventually, after the teacher does the entire thing, as, you all want to be heroes, Izuku just ignored it, though, because he was going to be the number one hero. And everyone believed in him because he was a lot stronger than Katsuki. And Bakugo also tried to challenge him a couple times, but got beat miserably. One time, last year, Izuku was challenged by Bakugo, and the teachers actually wanted to watch, so they let it go on a little longer. And Izuku started the battle immediately, surrounding the battlefield in rocks, so Bakugo couldn't escape. And Izuku also made little cracks in the rocks so the students could see. And Izuku immediately starts by electrocuting him, and Bakugo lets out a very loud shriek as Izuku makes the dirt out of the ground come through the building, and he makes a little fist out of it, and it smashes Bakugo into the rocks. And Izuku then lets out a torrent of flames at him. And the teacher's realizing, he might have to go to the hospital, crap, as they quickly break up the fight. But this left Bakugo with a couple broken bones and several second and third degree burns. And Bakugo wasn't the same after this. He didn't have the same ego level that was above the sky. He was kind of down to earth now and a lot more friendly because he didn't think he was better than everyone. He knew there was someone better than him. But he was still a Bakugo to everyone else. But if you really got to know him, just like in UA, he'd eventually open up to you. So, Izuku, after class ended, he was walking home and thought, maybe I'll take a shortcut today. After all, it is the last day. And next year, I'll be going to UA High School. So exciting. As he quickly blitzes to his house as fast as he can, thinking, let's see how fast I can go. As he quickly zooms through the town. But he stops under a little underpass and is like, oh, what does she want? As Izuku is messaging his friend when the sludge villain suddenly dives onto him and starts trying to take Izuku's body. And Izuku immediately uses the ground inside of the little underpass and starts ripping him to shreds with just smashing him against the wall. And Izuku uses flames and electricity coming out, radiating from his body, and starts destroying the sludge villain. But when the sludge villain still keeps himself inside of Izuku, Izuku's like, why can't I beat you? As, oh, 1 second, okay. And the sludge villain's like, too bad you don't have a water quirk. That's my greatest weakness. But, you're weak. As the sludge villain tosses him into the wall, which nearly knocks Izuku out. But Izuku, just before being knocked out, manipulates the water and sends the sludge villain into there and makes a massive cube around him, which is completely solid, and puts the sludge villain in and freezes the water. And then when Izuku sees All Might in front of him, is like, oh, hi, All Might, as he falls into the ground. And All Might's like, that kid's a nice one. As he looks to the villain and sees the absolute just backlash of all the power Izuku used. The entire environment is just shredded, and the underpass is completely broken from the earth being bent. And the sludge villain still encased in the massive water cube. It starts to melt because of Izuku being knocked out. And All Might quickly scoops him up into the bottle. And when Izuku woke up, All Might greets him. And Izuku asks if he can sign his notebook, and All Might does. So Izuku tells him about his quirk. And All Might's like, you can definitely be a hero. You can maybe even be stronger than me once you unlock all 9. But at your current state, I'd say you would be not even the top 50. Obviously lying, because he hasn't seen Izuku's quirk in action, but he doesn't know that Izuku's also very good at combat, so that's what he assumes, but Izuku could realistically be in, 24th by now. So, Izuku takes that information to heart. And after that day, Izuku worked as hard as he could. And with 5 of his tails, focuses on his new water quirk. And he tries as hard as he can to master all of his tails, and even to start working at the 6th one, which would be, matter, which he doesn't really grasp. So yeah. And when after the 10 months of training, Izuku arrives in a little we'll say a jacket, a white one, with some sweatpants. And Izuku arrives there and just immediately says, "This is all we worked for. Let's do this, Izuku." As he quickly runs into the building. And Izuku thinking, I probably outmatched. Kids have probably been training all their lives with pro heroes. Probably an All Might kid. Someone might even have All Might's quirk. As Izuku starts thinking that, as President Mike starts explaining the paper exam. And after he's done, he passes it out. And Izuku aces the quiz, having studied nonstop for 3 weeks with a good amount of food and water. But so Izuku knew every question, so he got 94. Just because he studied it nonstop for like 3 weeks doesn't mean he wasn't tired. So Izuku got the highest score there. So he has at least guaranteed general studies. So Izuku, when President Mike is done explaining the exam and they go outside, when President Mike tells them to go because there's no timer, Izuku immediately blitzes towards the where the robots are, and he uses his fire and his water to go as far as he can, as fast as he could. And when he sees a robot, he uses water and quickly turns it into ice with his mastery of water, and makes a trident out of it and throws it right into the robot's eyes, and makes out of the road. He makes a massive boulder and crushes the robot with it. And he keeps using his quirk. And through the entire exam, he gets 375 points because of how dominant his quirk was. So, eventually, towards the end, as always, he heard a 0-pointer, but when he walks over, he sees about 8 kids all having their legs crushed on a rock, like, "Help us, kid! Over here," as Izuku's attention is quickly snapped over there, and he comes over like, "What is it?" As they're all like, "We don't want to die," as they point to the 0-pointer, as Izuku's like, "I understand." As he makes a massive fire pillar and like stabs it into the robot's neck, and Izuku quickly jumps back and makes a little pillar for himself. As in the air, he makes an entire ball of energy, but he didn't realize it at first, but he was manipulating matter. So he doesn't have the tail yet, but his body is starting to grasp the concept. So he makes the entire ball of energy out of all of his powers currently, and throws it at the robot. And the robot tries to push against it, but it's quickly consumed by it and is blown up. And it also makes a massive crater in the ground. And Izuku's like, "Wow, that was amazing." As he immediately gets back to the ground, and as he lifts up the boulder and everyone gets out, he lays it down and falls onto the ground of exhaustion, like, "Is that it?" As he sees a minute left, like, "Well, I've definitely scored enough points." As he hears another scream, and without even thinking, puts his body into a lightning bolt, and strikes himself down right next to where he heard the scream, and sees a girl under a little boulder with another 0-pointer. And Izuku, first thinking that he can't do the energy thing again, he makes one massive whirlpool and makes it one massive wave of water, and puts it all up into the air and forms all of it into solid water and makes it all like spikes as he throws all of them at the robot, and it stabs in the power core of the robot, so it penetrates the robot and shuts it down, so the robot falls over, and he saves Ochako. And all the teachers are stunned, like, "This kid is amazing." And they all can't find one flaw in his game. And yeah. So when the exam ends and 4 weeks later, he gets a letter in UA. In the letter, All Might is in there like, "Hello, young Midoriya. If you do not remember, we met 10 months earlier, and you have grown quite well since then, I see. you could definitely be one of the top 3, I think. So, yeah. Kid, you are happily accepted with a groundbreaking 517 points into UA High School. Welcome to your Hero Academia. As that's what we'll be leaving off, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. So, this is our 700 subscriber special. Go subscribe to Flaming Wendigo. He's the original idea for this What If. Definitely go watch his content. Yeah. So this is Itaku signing off. Bye, guys.